There was a small protest outside the foreign ministry in Warsaw on Friday, April 5th, just as Israel's ambassador was apologizing for an Israeli airstrike that killed a Polish aid worker in Gaza this week. The ambassador caused outrage in Poland after he wrote on social media platform X on Tuesday that the extreme right and left in Poland were accusing Israel of intentional murder, adding that anti-Semites will always remain anti-Semites. Damian Sobol, a volunteer from southeastern Poland, was among 7 people working for World Central Kitchen who had arranged for food supplies to enter Gaza by sea and who were killed in the airstrike in central Gaza on Monday, April 1st. Polish Deputy Foreign Minister Andrzej Szejna said in a press conference he had handed over a note of protest to the ambassador Jakub Livne, who had been called into a meeting and apologized at the outset.
Przekazałem w imieniu MSZ I polskiej dyplomacji.
On behalf of the Polish Foreign Ministry, I handed over a note of protest to the ambassador, but also, which is worth mentioning, at the very beginning of the meeting, the ambassador apologized. He apologized for this event, which has no precedent in the history of the civilized world, which was bombing the humanitarian convoy driving to Gaza, the area affected by famine.
Zmierzającego z pomocą humanitarną do strefy Gazy.
Poland's deputy foreign minister said that disciplinary measures against those responsible would not be enough. The ambassador informed him that Israel's top court would conduct a criminal investigation. Poland wants its prosecutors to take part. I would like to strongly stress that the information we received until now is not satisfactory, but we see this meeting and the Israeli ambassador's stand as a change of tone. We expect a transparent investigation where the Polish side, as well as other countries that lost their citizens in this attack, which as a lawyer I call a murder. The Polish side demands access to all the information so that the explanation of the matter is satisfactory. For now, the course of the clarification process is not satisfactory for the Polish side. While the press conference was still taking place, Israel said an inquiry into the killing of the aid workers found serious errors and breaches of procedure by the military, with the result that 2 officers have been dismissed and senior commanders formally reprimanded. Poland holds local elections on Sunday, April 7th, in what will be the first ballot box test for the parties comprising Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk's coalition government. Polls show a tight race between Tusk's Civic Coalition KO and nationalist opposition party Law and Justice for first place. A second round of voting in mayoral races will be held on April 21st. This local election is also a kind of confirmation for every ruling team, how they are governing, and are they doing it right. In general, these are very important elections, not only for the politicians, for the ruling party, or for the prime minister, but also for us as citizens, because the majority of decisions are made by the local government. The 3 groupings that form the coalition are running on separate tickets, and analysts say the results that emerge from a campaign in which national issues such as abortion rights have loomed large will have ramifications for the balance of power in the government. Law and Justice came first in October's parliamentary election, but lost its parliamentary majority. Analysts say that if KO comes out on top this time, it will cement the party's position as a dominant force, both in the country and within the government. Tusk swept to power following a national election in October. The new government is currently facing questions over the legality of some of its reforms, particularly those concerning the media, and criticism for not fulfilling a host of promises made before the election. The end of the price freeze on electricity, gas, and heat in Poland. Starting in July, everyone will have to pay more, a lot more. Previous government mechanisms to stabilize electricity prices will expire at the end of June. They say it's not a sin to promise. I can promise that energy prices will be accepted for almost everyone, and for those for whom they will not be, there will be an energy grant. We are preparing an energy grant for those in energy poverty. So many fine announcements, but what does this mean in practice, and who will be able to count on government assistance? It looks like not many of us, and about 65% of an increase in energy prices will affect almost everyone in Poland. The energy grant, which will be a one-off, assumes an income criterion. According to recent reports, it is to include 6 thresholds, from single-person households to those with 6 or more people. It is not yet known what form it will take, and it is unclear what the amount will be. However, the bill shows that, for example, a single pensioner with an average pension or a married couple with a child earning the national minimum wage will not qualify for the grant. It will be difficult now. It used to be better because the government helped the young and the elderly, but now, unfortunately, it goes the other way. This is a very big increase, 65%. I can't imagine paying that much. This is a bit of a sick idea for me, because we can't afford to have reasonably cheap electricity and to produce electricity ourselves. They always don't have money, because as soon as this government comes in, there's never any money.
Tej ustawy Polacy mieli nie poznać do wyborów.
Polish people were not supposed to know about this new bill until the elections. I suspected that this is why the bill is not being presented, because it has to go into effect by the end of June, so it's late. But the bill was not shown for obvious reasons, and everyone will get increases of 65% for both electricity and heat. Ryszard Petru, the economic authority of the new government, says it straight. Although the electricity price hike will encourage inflation, it is necessary. We can't subsidize electricity prices indefinitely. These prices have been artificially low. We have much higher prices on world markets, and simply, prices must reflect market prices. The question is whether we go back to socialism, where everyone gets the same amount, or whether we go back to a solution where electricity prices reflect real costs. How much will we pay for energy? Analysts at the bank, BNP Paribas, forecast that once energy prices are unfrozen, they could rise from 412 zloty to 520 zloty per megawatt hour, or 108 zloty more. The condition, however, is the intervention of the president of the Energy Regulatory Office. Without it, prices could rise as high as 739 zloty per megawatt hour, or as much as 327 zloty more. This is a very large increase, and for many Poles, may be difficult to bear. And yet Donald Tusk promised Poles before the elections that things would be better when he came to power.
Te 100 dni
These 100 days, these 100 promises will lead to the fact that people in Poland will have more in their pockets. It will be cheaper in Polish stores, and it will be better in every Polish home. In fact, it looks like money from the pockets of citizens will go into the wallets of ruling coalition politicians. According to Sebastian Kaleta's findings, for 3 months, only in 11 ministries, Donald Tusk's government hired as many as 163 people with salaries of more than 15,000 zloty a month. The findings are the results of my parliamentary interpellations to all ministries. I have received responses from 11 so far. The scale of this El Dorado is enormous. The 11 ministries combined hired as many as 163 people with salaries of more than 15,000 zloty a month, and 72 people in the range of 10 to 15,000 zloty per month. The data does not include March and half of the government, so the scale is certainly larger at the moment. If there are millions of zloty in the budget for salaries and bonuses for Donald Tusk's government officials, why aren't they there to support Polish families in the face of the energy crisis? Experts indicate that the real reason for the surge in electricity prices in Poland may be the desire to reduce the competitiveness of the Polish economy, which has begun to threaten Germany's dominant position in the European Union. Poland already pays one of the highest taxes for CO2 emissions, which accounts for about 60% of the cost of energy production, and this directly transfers to electricity prices in Poland.
A Polska
Poland should not obediently conform to what Mrs. von der Leyen says, but do its own thing. The problem for our government is that we conform to what they propose to us, and these proposals are often unfortunately destructive and need to be resisted. According to experts, the European Union should not, for example, block the development of nuclear energy. Natalia Rzeźniczak, TV Republika. In Tehran, thousands of Iranians attended the funeral of Revolutionary Guard members who were killed at Iran's consulate in Syria. Demonstrators burned Israeli and U.S. flags while chanting and calling for the murder of Jews and Christians. The U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, warned Israel of a potential attack by Iran. People have come here to show their hatred of Israel, to show how angry they are and how sympathetic they are to the people of Gaza. We expect our government to express our will, and Israel will finally get what it deserves. Participants at the funeral expressed their opposition to Monday's airstrike in Damascus, which is widely blamed on Israel. 12 people were killed in the consulate, including 2 high-ranking Iranian generals. The funeral was held on the Day of the Quds, which falls every year on the last Friday of the Muslim holy month of fasting, Ramadan. Similar rallies were held in many other Iranian cities. Leader Ali Khamenei and the Speaker of the Syrian parliament announced punishing not only Israel, but also its allies. I want to tell our enemies and their supporters who attack our land that no matter how arrogant they are, no matter how spectacularly they want to destroy us, they will not stop our revenge. According to U.S. intelligence, Iran is preparing to launch an organized attack on strategic points in Israel using drones and missiles. The Israel Defense Forces, in response to these reports, has decided to mobilize additional air defense reserves.